happens with so many people with chronic illness is they go to a doctor and they've done their research, they know their body well, they've lived with this illness for a long time, and they bring something up to the doctor and they say, no, you're wrong. Like, that's not what's going on. Debilitating pain that leaves me laying in my bed with a heating pad for hours and bleeding through like a pad every 2 hours. Like I would get a pain in my pelvis and then it would shoot down my leg, and then I would have to sit down because it hurts too much to walk because of my period pain. Or like I would be crying in the middle of public because it hurts so much, and like I would change color because of the pain. And yeah, so I'm like begging her for help at this point. I'm like, please, you need to do something because I can't live like this. And that moment I cried tears of relief because I was like, there's actually something that is wrong, and it's not just my normal. So I've been dancing since I was 4. We all share the same passion for dance. We're all committed. And I would say like the Ukrainian community is pretty welcoming. If you're not Ukrainian, you're welcome to come dance with us or practice any kind of culture or do any. I have endometriosis, a mast cell disease, and then POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And it's like a autonomic nervous system disorder. But even in that, you have the freedom to express yourself, even if it's, the initial decision was so hard and I like thought about it for weeks and was to tell them I was so upset. I was like, I have to take a break, and I couldn't get up every day without knowing that like Renton and my family and my friends would be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I mean, a shared joy is double the joy. A shared sorrow is half a sorrow. Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Advin Villa. Today, we have Ukrainian dancer, childcare worker, living with chronic illness, Kayleigh Staigh. We will discuss culture, physical and mental health, and having a support system. Kayleigh is a wonderful person, and she's been dancing since she was 4, and she's very dedicated to it. But sadly, she's had to withdraw the passion of hers, which is Ukrainian dancing, and it's tough because she didn't have all the answers. She just kept feeling so fatigued all the time and sick. And, the doctors told her that everything was fine, but she felt off. But she kept fighting for herself and kept going. And she is a true inspiration. She still remains positive despite the tumultuous times that she's been through. I am immensely thankful for her being here today and being so brave to open up with her story. And despite everything that's happened, she still, has so much gratitude, and you could learn a lot from her. I know I did. And this is a great one. Everybody, welcome. All right. Welcome, Kayleigh Staigh, everyone. Yeah, it's an honor to have you on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what role has Ukrainian dance played in shaping your identity and sense of belonging, especially during difficult times with your health?
So I've been dancing since I was 4, which is a long time. And I mean, 2 minus 2 years, still a long time. And I've had the same director since I was 4 and the same group of people around me for a very, very long time. And I've learned a lot, not just dance, but so many life things through Ukrainian dance, like found a sense of community with that, because it's not just like the base thing is that we all share the same culture. We're all, not even everyone, but everyone appreciates the same culture.
Yeah.
But then building on that, like as we get older, we all share the same passion for dance. We're all committed. And I would say like the Ukrainian community is pretty welcoming. If you're not Ukrainian, you're welcome to come dance with us or practice any kind of culture or do any, like we make pasenka eggs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're Ukrainian, come and do it with us. It's lots of fun. And
pierogies.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone loves pierogies. You don't have to be Ukrainian to eat pierogies.
Yeah.
So it just kind of helped my confidence a lot too, with dancing. And when you are performing, right? So you're posture is good, you're smiling, most important thing is you're enjoying yourself, but you look good on stage. That's very important. And so that's really helped my confidence a lot. When I was little, I was like labeled as shy and quiet, but I don't know if I would say I'm shy, but
You broke out of your shell through dance and the community.
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, definitely. And then in like tough times, at a different time in my life when I wasn't sick, but going through some mental illness, and I still know, but that I could show up to dance practice and put it at the door. That's an important thing. You leave your whatever is negative or bringing you down at the door so that you can ignore it and enjoy the dance and enjoy the practice and perform. So in that kind of time, I was able to go to dance and see all my friends and put those troubles at the door and leave them there until I left. And have a break kind of from it and from thinking about it and
get into that flow state.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when you're there, you ruminate too much on our troubles, right? And it becomes intensified. But then when you park it a little bit, and then you go and you hang out with friends, you dance, you come back to it and it's lighter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do you know what kind of feelings kind of bubble up to the surface whenever you're in that flow state? Like, how would you describe it?
Kind of like kind of freedom, like you're confined, not necessarily, I wouldn't say confined, but dance is strict, right? If you've ever seen a ballet dancer, they're very, very technique, and not just doing whatever they want. It's very, this is the rules, you follow the rules. Yeah. But even in that, you have the freedom to express yourself, even if it's kind of like there's rules to it, you still can. And how you show your face and when you perform, it conveys the emotions of the dance. Yeah. And how you move your hands, move your head is all very, very important in how you are showing the emotions of the dance. And with that, I would say you have freedom to express yourself, even however you're feeling, like if you're not performing, you're practicing and you're sad, you can show it on your face. It's okay for certain kind of dances. And then aside from that, when I'm in a dance practice, we're focused on dance, right? It's not focusing on what you did today or dancing. And so with your friends, you're expressing your culture and expressing your emotions and how much you love dance through dance.
Yeah, it's very well structured, hey? And when you're up on stage there, or even when you're practicing, it's like yes, you're showing emotion, but when you're showing sadness because you're in the routine, it's kind of like a happy kind of sadness. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
It's like cathartic, where like I've never really seen someone dancing like with an actual sad look. Like, yes, it conveys emotion, like maybe towards like a sad kind of vibe, but it's not actually truly sad, like boohoo me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yes, definitely.
And that's just like, I don't know how to dance myself. I don't think I've ever had like formal training, but there's this private gym at my work right now, and then I could plug in my phone. They got like a surround sound speaker, and I just love to just move the body, and they got some mirrors there, and it's just like fun. Like whenever I can see the thrill that people get out of it, and it's just so freeing. It's like you're just moving the body, you're expressing yourself, and whether it be like anger from one moment to happiness, and you don't have to say anything, right? And it must be so rewarding being with the culture, right? And being around people. You're building this routine up, it's all structured, you're following rules, you're doing it to the beat. But yeah, it's since you were 4 you were doing it?
Yeah. And it's a lot different when you're a kid. I mean, it's mostly just go on stage and remember the routine.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't even say training as a kid. You're not training. For me, I was not training. I was just having fun and doing kind of running around. But as you get older, like that kind of, you start as a kid, you have, everyone has pride in that they've been dancing for so long. And you, as you get older, you begin to truly love it. Like maybe when you're a kid, you like going to dance and it's fun, but like it's a different kind of love as you get older, is love for the art, love for the community, and love for like expressing yourself through movement.
Yeah. Did you ever have like, because I know whether you love something, enough, like sometimes your parents kind of have to force you to go. I know when I was younger, I loved going to school, right? I loved seeing my friends, but just some days, right? Just like didn't want to go. Like, but then once you get there, right? It's like, whoa, like why didn't I want to go? And then you ever get those?
Yeah, there was at least a year in my life where my mom was mostly forcing me to go to dance.
This. What do you mean?
Exactly.
You have a smile on your face every time. It's like my little brother, like he whines every time he needs to take a shower or bath. But then after it, he's like in such a good mood.
Yeah.
Like sometimes as kids, right, we don't know what's good and bad for us, right? We just kind of go based on emotion. And then that's why we have guardians or parents look out after us and go, I know what's best for you. You have to do this. You have to go to dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I heard something recent, or my boss said it to me. She said she tells the kids that we don't quit on hard days or bad days, only on good days. So like if you're having a bad day at something, you don't want to go to it. But if you truly don't want to do something, you'll know on a good day.
Yeah. It's like through reflection, right? It's like if you have a bad day, and if that's like emotional based kind of decision making.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you end up regretting it. But if it's like on a good day and you've done reflection and you're looking back and there's all these different iterations, like, yes, maybe you should quit that because like you truly aren't passionate about it and you're gritting your teeth. But if it's like a bad day where like maybe, you stub your toe, you stepped on a Lego, maybe you just, you tripped and somebody saw you and it was just an embarrassing day. You shouldn't make those decisions on the spot.
Yeah.
Give it some time. Yeah. You, where do you work? If you don't mind me asking.
I work at Kids Strong, which is a like kind of athletic play thing for kids, and they come for 45-minute classes. And I'm a coach and also reception a little bit, but we teach them like fitness stuff, but it's really focused on their confidence. So they come and like some kids come and they won't talk, but then they come to Kids Strong, and after like 10 classes or whatever, they're talking to everyone because they're confident.
Oh, yeah? How do you make a kid confident?
Well, the curriculum, like the program is structured. So we do a social greeting, which is like we go around and they introduce themselves, we introduce us, shake hands every single day. And then it's they're interacting with their peers and like people that they don't know and high-fiving all the grown-ups in the lobby. So like grandparents, parents of other kids that they don't know, high-fiving them, telling the parents are telling them good job. So they're interacting with people that they don't know, which is scary, but eventually they get comfortable and used to it and it builds up their confidence. And then all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, but over time they're talking to anyone and they're not afraid anymore.
Yeah. Did they get too confident sometimes where they're like just talking to everyone?
Definitely.
Like,
sometimes
like Timmy, you can't just be talking to everyone. Okay. A little balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what are some good icebreakers for kids? Like when they get to know each other?
What's your favorite color? It's literally the simplest questions that maybe you wouldn't think to ask someone like our age. You wouldn't be like, go up to someone and say, oh, what's your favorite animal? But like,
but those are actually some good ones though.
Yeah.
Like if somebody came up to me, like, what's your favorite animal, or what kind of animal would you be if you could pick? I'm like, wow, this guy's onto something. Maybe a little bit weird, but I'll talk to him. Yeah. What's your favorite animal?
Polar bears.
Polar bears. They're vicious though.
They are, but they're cute.
They're cute. They're cute in like a plushy version.
Exactly,
now,
not a real one.
like pictures. But if you saw one in person, why is it like literally you take any vicious animal and you turn them like, if you just, they're kind of cute in like a plushie, right?
Yeah.
Or like a little drawing, like a crocodile,
But
right?
they're like the fuzzy ones, they're fuzzy, right? You would want to pet it, but you can't.
Or like hippos. Like hippos,
Yeah.
but they're like,
They're very mean.
they're mean. Like they drown people.
No.
Like they're really, really mean. Like if they catch you, yeah, good luck. Or like what else? Snakes can't be cute though. Oh, snakes.
I don't know. When I was little, I wanted a snake so bad.
Really?
Yeah.
What about it?
I don't know. I read a book, I think, and someone had a pet snake, and I'm like, wow, I want that.
Wow.
And I did not get a pet snake.
I have. I think I knew this girl in high school who had a pet snake.
Really?
Yeah, just following around her. It was on her Snap story all the time. People were like, "What, Danica? What are you doing? You're so cute, isn't it?"
I don't know.
It looks like it's gonna strangle you.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, how do cultural traditions or your connection to Ukraine help you find strength or healing through your medical journey?
So, lots of cultural traditions actually are based on religion, and my family's not religious. We never were. And so I know of some of them, but I don't really participate in the religious ones. But even so, if I happen to be around it and people are doing it, I will participate in it. I like them, like the praying and the prayers. They're very in depth and very I don't know, very like dedicated. And again, I'm not religious, so I don't really know, but I don't know, I like to participate in them. But lots of art we do. So Pasenka, like egg drawing, writing the eggs. It's lots of fun. It's hard, but it's lots and lots of fun. And I did it last year and this year again. And I did it when I was little, but like it's not really the same. You're just scribbling on it and not really doing much. But now that I'm older, I made a really, really nice one last year. I'm pretty proud of it. And it was very detailed, and it was the second one I ever made, except for when I was younger. And it's lots of fun to like it. In a way, it can kind of be like dance, to just follow the patterns, and like every pattern and embroidery and like symbol, or they're called ornament, means something. And you can arrange them into words, kind of like letters. There's different letters that translate into different ornament shapes, and then you can kind of put them together and make a word, which some people do for embroidery, some people do for on Pasenka. And yeah, so I make Pasenkas at Easter time. At Easter time, I also make bread. So it's called paska, and it is braided bread, which you've probably seen. We eat at Easter, and it's yummy, but it's lots of fun to make as well. And then for Christmas, I made my mom these ornaments. So it had our names, like of my family. So me, my mom, my dad, and my sister. Each one had a little ornament out of the embroidery symbols I was talking about. The letters can translate to the symbols, and so I made our names out of that. And from stepping away from dance, that's kind of what I've been doing to keep my culture, like, in, how do I say this? Like, to
alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To keep practicing it. And it won't ever live up to dance, but it's what I can do right now. Yeah.
It's, you have to find some sort of creative outlet, right? And there's always something, right? Drawing eggs and just art.
Yeah.
It's a door gets closed, right? But like there's so many other ones that could be open, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through your medical journey, right, it's been, like, sure, you can't dance now, but still there's still a lot of opportunity.
Yeah.
There's still like things that you can do, like this. And hey, maybe you become a pro at this. Who knows? Maybe it was for a reason, right? Maybe you become, you're teaching kids this and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after having to step away from dance, like due to illness, how did that affect your relationship with your culture and creativity?
It was really hard. Like I said, I've been dancing since I was 4. So it's been like the kind of art that I've been doing forever. And like I said, it brings me lots of passion and joy. And to make this decision to like take a break, because at first I just took a break, was like one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. And I had just joined like a semi-professional ensemble in Edmonton. I danced with Volia, Ukrainian dancers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And I just performed my first 2 dances with them in Vegreville. And then like 2 months later, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I had to kind of tell them I need to take a break. And then the break became a year. And then it was like, well, I don't know if I'm going back. So I'll probably just tell them I'm not. And then if I do get to go back, I do. But yeah, the initial decision was so hard. And I like thought about it for weeks and was to tell them I was so upset. I was like, I have to take a break. And they absolutely understood. They can't force me to dance. Yeah, it was really hard. And I didn't have any kind of creative outlet for a while. I lost what I do. I dance and I lost that. And it was very hard, and dealing with health and like just getting up for a day and trying to find something to put my creative art, anything into is like, it was hard.
Yeah.
And actually I learned how to crochet instead of dancing. Yeah. So that's kind of what I channeled it into, I guess. Cause it's, I don't have to run around. I just sit there and crochet, and it's fun. Again, nothing will really, I can't even say that. Nothing so far has lived up to dance.
I'm sure one day you'll find the substitution, or if, I'm very hopeful, and I think there's going to be a cure for everything, so I think like you'll either go back to normal or find a substitution, and you look back and go, wow, like I'm thankful for all the things that have happened, good and bad.
Yeah.
No, that's just me. But were you in denial at first? Were
Absolutely.
you like, no, this cannot be it. Like I need to dance. Like I need have this in my life. I thought it was going to be with me forever. Like how would that go?
First it was my stomach. The first thing that kind of made me unwell was my stomach. Everything I ate was making my stomach upset, and I was like vomiting all the time and totally had no energy because I couldn't really eat anything. And I was like, no, I just need to eat after dance or eat before dance or just tough it out. And that was me for weeks and weeks. And my mom was like, maybe it's time to take a break. I'm like, absolutely not. I cannot take a break. Because, I just kind of accomplished my dream, and I was just at the very start of my dancing career, because just before my first 2 dances, and then after that, it only gets better. You only perform in more dances and learn more things. So to like quit at the very start is not what most people do, and is not absolutely not what I wanted to do. And I was very much, I can just tough it out and keep going. But in order to have any good quality of life, I could not do that.
Yeah. What was it were you feeling with dance? What was kind of the biggest factor that made you go, oh wow, like I cannot keep doing this? Because you could tough it out, right? But eventually, the straw that breaks the camel's back comes, and you're just like, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
I went to the washroom during middle of class to throw up, and I was like, I can't come here and then throw up and then go back to dance. Like I was laying on it's gross, laying on the bathroom floor in the dance studio crying because I'm like, I need to go back, but I can't. And then someone came to check on me, and she's like, you need to go home. And I'm like, no, I can't miss the rest of rehearsal. She's like, no, it's time to go home. And that was I was like, maybe I shouldn't be here and doing this,
I'm sorry to hear you've gone through that, but it's great that, you you're still hopeful and you're still finding ways to be able to, get that creative outlet. It's not easy, right? But yeah, you've gone through like a road, a long road of misdiagnosis as well, right?
Hmm.
And waiting, and what helped you stay grounded through that uncertainty?
Um, my parents were like my biggest support. I was seeing so many doctors and going to so many appointments and trying so many medications, doing so many blood tests and other tests, and there was nothing, and nothing was abnormal. And they're like, I don't know what's wrong. Okay. So I was kind of just in my head being like, what if I'm faking all of this and like not knowing it and just making it all up? It's like subconsciously. And I said this to my mom one day, and she's like, have you not seen what's happening? Like, you are not making this up. She saw it every single day that I was exhausted and in pain, and I still kept going, and she saw it every single day. So for me to like question if it was real or not was like a big for her, like, why would you think that? And yeah, there's so much that was normal or like negative tests, and so much that was all, there's nothing wrong, we can't find anything wrong. And it was very like, it's hard to just be sick and not have a diagnosis. Like, you can have all these symptoms and just have all the symptoms, but not confidently be able to say there's anything wrong with you. And that was kind of hard to know at that point that there was nothing wrong with me. I just wasn't feeling well every day. And anytime I had to go to a new doctor or to any doctor, they're like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I have no idea, nothing. They're like, okay, well, they haven't found anything, so sorry, do something else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go from one doctor to the next, and then they're like, "Oh, you're fine," but I don't feel fine. Like you're like the 10th doctor I've seen, right? And who said the same thing, and so I don't blame you for second guessing yourself and going, "Yeah, maybe this is all in my head. Maybe this is a delusion. Maybe I'm in a simulation." Matrix. But yeah, it's tough because I've been in a similar circumstance where I had this chronic pain in my ear. It's called hyperacusis. And I felt like it's like being stabbed in the ear anytime you hear noise that's like exceeds like 85 decibels. And for some people, it gets so bad that it's like 60 decibels, which is talking voice. So everything hurts. I was the same way where I saw my general doctor, the MD clinic, and nothing was found, and they recommended to go do an audiologist to do a test, and the tests came back, and my hearing is fine. Checked the structure is fine. Went to go get a second opinion, third opinion, same thing. Tests were fine. Went to go see an ENT, which is an ear, nose, and throat specialist. Fine. So everything was fine. Went to go see to get an MRI. Okay. It was fine. Everything was fine. And then here I was driving all around, and I'd shut the car door, and I would be catapulted into excruciating pain by just the noise. And I was just like, am I going crazy? And eventually the left pain sensitivity flooded to my right. And then it was like I was going crazy, and I felt like, I think maybe, my like living ain't so, maybe death would be a better alternative than this. And it's just like, I'd suffered with this for 2-3 years. I'd still go to the gym, I'd tough it out, but there's just some days where I just wake up with dread, and it's like, oh, here we go again. And then like seeing all these doctors, and it's just, am I crazy? You know what I mean? Is it me? And then finally getting an answer, and what's it called? It was liberating, because I I searched it up on Google, right?
Yep.
And I knew I hadn't never actually got a formal diagnosis, but it's tough not knowing. It's tough really just going about like the world, like life, and not having any answers, and because you can't work towards fixing the root problem, right? And eventually, thank God I healed. I went through a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer, a lot of, I still don't know what cured me, but a lot of people don't get out of it. You know, a lot of people end up taking their own lives because it gets so bad. But that's why I'm such a big advocate for just health and just chronic pain, because I know it's like so debilitating, right? Chronic illness. And I'd be up late at night, like scrolling through chronic illness, like subreddits,
Yeah.
and like seeing the stories. I'm sure you've seen this. Wow, my story's not that bad compared to this person. You know, you ever read those like
Absolutely,
horror
yeah.
stories, and it's
Yeah.
like they don't have family. They're suffering through the same things you're going through. No job, no anything. Doesn't drive. I'm like, wow. And like I'm thankful that I'm in this position, and I'm also kind of really guilty that I'm in this position, and I feel bad for the other person.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's sorry, do you still have the ear pain now?
Here and there it comes, it dissipates. It's like,
Yeah.
I'd say it's 90% recovered, which is, I'd say it's pretty much
That's
gone.
good.
But when I'm highly stressed,
Yeah.
when I don't get enough sleep, it comes, and it's just like, it's scary. It's so, because I've never been in that much pain in my life. And it's like before the pain, there's this quote of like, if you think that's the worst thing that could happen to you, then that's a flaw of your imagination, by Sam Harris. So like before this, I thought like my life was just, I need to be better and all this, and then everything was just taken away from me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like the peace was taken away, and I'm like, wait, I was actually living in a utopia before, you know, and I took it all for granted.
Yeah.
And I should have been more in the moment. I should have been this. And like, I see so many people on TikTok that have this same, like, that say the same thing. And I'm like, it's not until you actually like have like a drastic change in your life where you're like, you realize that, oh, like I had it good, you know, and now I'm just trying to project in the future, and I go, okay, it can get worse. So I'm going to try to just live in the moment, you know, and try to love my family and try to love myself and the people around me, because things can change in a dime.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it's better. That sounds awful. And
yeah,
going back to what you said at the start is that like no doctor could, they all just say you were normal.
Yeah.
Hearing like a medical professional and someone who knows more than you, like they went to school to be a doctor, saying that you're wrong, basically, that there's something wrong with you, they think you're wrong, is like, oh, well, I should probably believe them because they know more than me. And that's like something even now that happens with so many people with chronic illness, is they go to a doctor and they've done their research, they know their body well, they've lived with this illness for a long time, and they bring something up to the doctor and they say, no, you're wrong. Like that's not what's going on. Or there's nothing wrong. It's like, how do you speak up to that, you know, and be like, well, can you think about this again? Or I think I'm right, you know? And to get a second and multiple opinions for you, that's like, that takes determination too, definitely, because for like a medical professional to say you're wrong and they're right is so like, oh, well, probably. So for you to go to find other doctors to see what is wrong is very, yeah, it takes a lot of determination.
Yeah, I was just in so much pain, right? And I thought like I was also grieving the fact that, oh, I can't go to the bar anymore. I can't attend concerts. I can't live a normal life anymore. And then like you really have to stand up for yourself. And I actually, I agree. Where like a doctor may know more than you because they literally have a PhD. They went to med school, right? And they've been practicing for longer than we've been alive. But I think for like to a certain degree, I think you may know more about like if you have diabetes, right, you're probably going to know more about diabetes because you're on the subreddits, you've read every single website, you've gone through all the communication with it, you know how it feels, right? And when it for your chronic illnesses, right, you probably know more. So I think it's just to stand up for yourself, because I think you could have a PhD within that disease. You know, like I know so much more about hyperacusis and tinnitus than like I say 99% of the doctors, because they've just never, they're not living it. Like reading it from a textbook, then like living it.
Very different.
I can give you like an entire essay on how I feel and what to do, what not to do, right? What it's like with the mindset shifts, how other people are feeling. It's like, I don't know. Would you say the same?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Like this one time I had to go to the emergency room because of chest pain. And I was kind of instructed by like my doctor to go because of chest pain just in case. And I'm like, okay. So I went because my chest was hurting. And I was explaining my mast cell disease to the doctor. And he's like, are you sure you have that? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. Thank you for asking. And he's like, he like searched it up and he's like, I don't think so. And I'm like, sorry, but you are like, you're specializing in emergencies. So like, I don't expect every doctor to know everything. Absolutely not. They work hard, but they can't know about every single disease. But to tell someone who has that disease that they're wrong is like, what are you even doing? Like, did you did you do anything in patient care?
Were they compassionate about it though, or were they just like straight up, just like, hey, I think you're wrong?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I didn't diagnose myself. That's another thing. So the specialist diagnosed me, right? The immunologist or allergist diagnosed me, and I've lived it. So if this is happening, if I'm having chest pain because of this certain thing, it's probably true. This is something I experience over and over and over again. It's not, I'm coming here for you to diagnose me with it or to undiagnose me with it.
Yeah. It's like, at least, have a little bit of compassion, for the person that's literally in the ER.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because they see, I'm sure, so many patients.
I bet you a lot of patients fake it too. There's like, you hear about those people where like, but you have to, I want to assume like people are innocent until proven guilty, but like some people, they assume you're guilty until proven innocent, which is like such a backwards kind of thing. Thinking. It's like, no, like you should like approach people with the same kind of kindness and same kind of open-mindedness as, just view them as a person that needs help or that is good, not because if you go into the interaction and you go, oh yeah, they're totally faking it and they're guilty and they're this, and then you're just going to have like a cynical mind, and then you're not going to, do your best job. I think, like for me, anytime I've gone into an interaction with like preconceived thoughts, I've always just, come out of it and with like, it's a negative vibe, and I don't like it. Yeah,
definitely.
What's one misconception about chronic illness or invisible conditions that you wish more people understood?
I think a misconception maybe is that on a good day that they are cured. If you're having a good day and you're out and doing things that you maybe haven't done in like 3 weeks, that doesn't mean you're better. You're just on a up, and then it'll go down and up. It's a roller coaster. It's not going to end, and it's not linear at all. And I think that some people can see that someone's doing better, and they're like, oh, you're better. But then the next day they're not. And they're like, well, what happened? Why you were better yesterday, but why aren't you okay today? And that's because it's chronic, like it's a long-term illness, and it doesn't get better. Like you can have good days and bad days, but it's not really going away usually. And yeah, I think some people just kind of are like, why aren't you better?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, they don't understand kind of the ebbs and flows. Like this is something that I'm probably going to live with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
and because like sickness, right? Like a cold, they just view that as like, oh, something where, you know, maybe you need surgery for it, and then eventually you get better and you're back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
But for people with chronic illness, chronic pain, like you're reminded of it every single day. And then one day you could just be at a 10 and one day it could be at a 2.
Yeah.
But it's still there. It's still lingering, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Are you in like a support group at all?
Yeah,
You know?
I'm on a few
Mhm.
for different things on Facebook, but
Mhm.
Facebook can get crazy.
Yeah. No, I don't know what it is, but like it can get really negative. You know, I like seeing like the random positive one that goes, yeah, I love my life even despite all the shit that I can't do.
Yeah.
Right. I love that stuff. But yeah, it's like an echo chamber of negativity, and you're swimming in the negativity of soup.
Yeah.
And it's just not good to go on there all the time. Like it's good to go on there to know you're not alone, right? But it's bad if that's all you do, because you're like, yeah, is life really this terrible? You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
There's this one that I was on for endometriosis, and people were like, so there's no cure for endometriosis, right? And people were trying to sell things that were like, this will cure your endometriosis, and it was like some vitamin. And I'm like, I don't know if you've done any research before you tried selling this, but like, what are you thinking?
But there's people that believe it though.
Yeah.
Like they're willing to like try anything now because they're so
Absolutely.
desperate.
Yeah.
Like you become delusional.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, like cold showers are gonna fix your condition right away. It's like, no. Like I'm not buying your course, okay? Like I'm not paying you. Like there's some people that prey on them and like their fellow chronic pain community.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. There's lots of people selling like their courses, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know about that. I don't know how much I trust it. Like I don't know. If I had an experience that truly made me better and changed my life, I think I would want everyone who has experienced the same thing as me to get better as well.
But like the profit though, like if it's like $50, you know, for a course, and they're like, you can just tell the vibe. I don't know what
exactly.
it is.
I agree.
Like I was listening to this podcast about hyperacusis,
Mhm.
and this guy was he was so convicted about the cause, and he like just, it was basic stuff like sunlight and like peace and like, this is like, yes, it's probably going to reduce your stress, but this is not a cure. That's why I'm always like, whenever I talk about kind of my success story, is like, yes, I'm like cured, but
Mhm.
I don't know what did it. I can't say which one is causation. And so I can't share that, hey, this is going to make you better. I can just give you kind of some hope and kind of tell you, hey, like try to do your hobbies, try to make friends, you know, still find some other outlet.
Yeah.
Cause like, I don't know if you noticed this too, but like you can still live, you know, you can still like crochet, you can still go to work. And
Mhm.
if you didn't do any of that, like you're going to deteriorate so much faster.
Yeah.
Right. It's good to like push yourself, but it's also good to like not push yourself and like relax, but you got to keep living.
Yeah.
You got to keep like going forward.
Definitely.
Right? Like some people just give up. Like even some people without chronic illness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just, that's life. Like I don't, like I've kind of like accepted the fact that, hey, and like there's certain things that I just can't control, right? And I'm going to actively work towards changing it. But it's just it. You know, I'm not Superman. Like I'm not going to be able to do everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. On the tough days when symptoms take over, how do you show yourself compassion or keep your mindset steady?
Give myself like time and rest if I need it, because literally what you just said is pushing yourself is not going to do it. And maybe if when I was healthy, or no, didn't have an illness, I would push myself and keep going. But like, I know if I do that, if I push myself now, then I'm going to be out for 3 days and laying down and sleeping for 3 days because I went too far. And that's kind of the balance you have to have, is like knowing what your limit is. And it's hard to discover that because every day is different and your limit could be something different every single day. But it's important to give yourself compassion and like the time that you need to recover, and don't feel guilty also if you can't do something. Like a lot of times I say no to things and then I'm like, oh, maybe I should just do it and go anyways, and then I'll just deal with it after. But it's not good for you to just keep doing things even if you shouldn't or you can't, because you're sacrificing your quality of life at that point. Like the thing about anything in life is sacrifice. For chronic illness, for me, right, I sacrificed losing dance to have a better quality of life, to not be sick to my stomach every single day. And that was hard, but in the end it was worth it. And that's like kind of, you need to sacrifice getting up or going to an event if you need to rest and get better.
Yeah. There are no solutions, only trade-offs, right? And when you go to an event, like you're going to have to sacrifice maybe sleep to an extent because maybe you get home at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
If you eat crackers, you won't be able to eat an apple. You know what I mean? Because maybe you'll have less room. You can make both work, but certainly maybe you'll be too full, right? Maybe you'll gain some weight because of it. But there's like all these things, and it's always a give and take, pros and cons, right? And you have to like do a lot of reflection, right? Because if you just go based on impulse, if you go, oh yeah, I feel like it, let's do it, and then without any regard to like what you're gonna feel like 2 weeks later, or like a day later, it'd probably be more realistic, then yeah, you're gonna put your circadian rhythm out of whack. You're just gonna get out of your comfort zone too much, and you're gonna wake up feeling dizzy and not be able to live at peace. And is that really worth it? Is that really how you want to live your lives? It depends, right?
Exactly.
And maybe it's a friend that you haven't seen in a couple years and you want to truly catch up, and maybe you want to do some surfing, and if it's too much, that's okay. You don't chastise yourself, right? You don't go, oh, I'm stupid, oh, I'm this. Like, no, you're human.
Yeah.
You're like, everybody's going through something, right? Like that's kind of something that's liberated me, where okay, I may not be the smartest, best looking, strongest, but you know what? This is my life, and I can do what's best for me, and I can be happy. Like that, the level of happiness that we all experience, the same. Like whether you got a video on YouTube went viral because you made it with hard work, or that dance routine that you practiced and you hit that one move that was so difficult, or you get a new Lego set, those are all kind of the same kind of feelings, right? And it's just to remember that there's new chapters, there's different doorways, different paths that you can just live.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I should have gone through it at the start, but if you don't mind me asking, like what are like the kind of the diagnoses that you have gotten?
So I have, the first one was a mast cell disease, and it's called hereditary alpha tryptase syndrome.
Wow.
So I don't call it that because no one knows what I'm talking about. It's really not as crazy and like bad as it sounds.
So intellectual though. Can you say that again?
Hereditary alpha tryptase syndrome.
Tryptase syndrome.
So the hereditary is the hereditary, alpha is the gene, and then tryptase. Tryptase is a chemical in your body that has to do with allergies, I guess, and histamine. And tryptasemia is just the way it acts. And then syndrome is like a collection of symptoms.
Wow. Maybe you should specialize.
Lots of people have the genetic mutation, I guess, because one of my parents has it because it's hereditary. I don't know which one because they don't display any symptoms. But a third of the population who have it have severe symptoms, which is why they thought about it and they tested it for me. And the test isn't like, no one really gets tested for it. So they had to send it to Texas, my blood sample, to get tested for the gene.
You pretty much been to Texas.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it's, some doctors kind of recognize it. Some doctors don't, because it is, I can't remember the percent. I don't want to say it wrong. A small percentage of the population has the mutated gene, but only a small percentage of that percentage have severe symptoms.
Okay, so like that, it's rare, but it's like very rare within the rare.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like you may have the mutation, but you wouldn't know unless you had symptoms of it.
Yeah.
So like allergy symptoms, anaphylaxis, and allergies and anaphylaxis is kind of the main symptoms.
I think my prof was just on the pod last time, a couple podcasts ago, which I have yet to release. And yeah, she called it the diathesis. I don't want to butcher it, but essentially the genetic components are all there, and it just it materializes into something real if you're like stressed or if you're exposed to certain, certain external factors.
Interesting.
Right? Like it's all there. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure we're all kind of schizo a little bit. Like if you're pushed to a certain degree, like we're all just like, something just snaps,
Definitely.
But it's like for some people, maybe that takes like a broken fingernail. For some people, that may take like their entire family, getting wiped out. But then, it's just like, I wonder what activated yours. Hey,
I wonder. Pretty sure I had COVID. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you think COVID activated
that's what happened. And I'll get more into that too in a minute. Yeah, I'm pretty sure COVID brought it out and gave me starting to have symptoms.
Wow. And what does this do? What is this? What symptoms does this?
So this is what I'm pretty sure is what caused all my stomach pain and like stomach issues, because basically what was happening is that everything I would eat, my body would have an allergic reaction to. Nothing like life-threatening or anything, but making my stomach upset was everything I was eating. And so now I'm on antihistamines every day. And so I can tell what actually makes my stomach upset, like gluten and dairy and eggs, random things like that.
You on Benadryl?
I'm on, what am I on? Oh my goodness, Reactin. Yeah.
Oh. I was on Benadryl I guess I went through I had like chronic hives. You ever get those? Yeah.
Yeah.
For months, I thought it would never go away. I just kept getting hives everywhere. I'd be at school and it would just be all my arms. And then I went through all the different kind of antihistamines, and then the strongest one was Benadryl, but it made you so drowsy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so drowsy. And I'm like, it was the strongest one. I never got hives, but
that's good.
Yeah. I think it went away. But it's so stomach pains. Like was it like just was it just like pinching? Was it like stinging pain? What kind of?
So it was like I get it now when I eat gluten and dairy. Like your whole abdomen is kind of cramping, but kind of like dull pain. And then what I've noticed is like I can kind of feel as the food is moving through my intestines because it hurts in certain spots.
You can feel it?
I can't actually feel the food moving, but I kind of tell because like it hurts in certain spots. Maybe I should have phrased that differently.
Could you imagine? You just feel, that's the third bite from the taco.
But like it hurts in different spots as like digestion is going on.
You sure it's not a superpower? Yeah. Could you imagine?
That'd be crazy. Yeah. But yeah, and then that was kind of what started everything, is my stomach. And then I wasn't eating because I was throwing up, or my stomach was really, really hurting. So then I was exhausted from not eating. And then I also, from that, sometimes have anaphylaxis. So that's like when your throat swells up after you eat something. It's allergic reaction, which is so far brought on by different random times, random foods I've eaten that I've eaten before, which it hasn't happened in a while, but with a mast cell disease, this can happen for many people. I can't remember the name of it, and I don't want to say it wrong, but it's like anaphylaxis, but with an unknown trigger. So anything you eat could possibly give you anaphylaxis in some situations.
So you have to have like an epinephrine with you all the time?
Exactly. I have one in my bag right now.
Because your like throat shuts off, right? And you could potentially, not be able to get oxygen, suffocate. Yeah. So that's a symptom that comes, or I guess a thing that comes with that. So this is like there's many mast cell diseases, but this is like the one that I have, and it's kind of different from the other ones. And then after that, I got diagnosed with endometriosis. So that is when tissue that's kind of like the tissue lining your uterus grows outside of your uterus, and it causes lots of pain and heavy periods, heavy bleeding, and infertility for some women. So that is like, it's estimated that 1 in 10 women have this, but it's lots of doctors don't listen to women, especially around their periods, because the norm for periods is like different for every woman, right? Mm-hmm. So what's normal for you, well, not for you, but for anyone. Are you assuming?
I don't know, what's your period like?
It's not that bad.
But the normal for one woman is different from another one, right? So you might not know you're having problems because it's been like that for your whole life, but for me, it's like in like debilitating pain that leaves me laying in my bed with a heating pad for hours and bleeding through like a pad every 2 hours, like the big ultra maxi pads, whatever they're called.
Wow.
And so I got an IUD, which helped a lot actually, but then it moved, and you can't.
What's an IUD?
Oh yeah, sorry. So it's like a contraceptive, a birth control. But lots of women use it for like heavy periods and pain. And it's like a little T-shaped device, and they insert it in your uterus, and then it kind of blocks. I also don't know the medical term for this, but it like blocks anything going into your ovaries, but it also depends on the IUD, doesn't let you have a period. So basically it's birth control.
Okay. But like a stronger version.
Depends. The nice thing about it, for what someone would like about it, is you don't have to remember to take a pill every day. It's just always in there, and you get it removed or changed every 5 years, depending on the brand. I don't know if it's stronger, but it's just a different type than like traditional pills.
Oh wow. It's a lot. And that's all 3 of the diagnoses?
There's more. There's more.
Wow.
Don't even worry.
Collecting all of them.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so I got an IUD, and then it got better, and then the IUD moved, like shifted. So I had to take it out because you can't keep it in when it's out of place, because it can like perforate your uterus, which is like stab it and go through it. I don't know. It didn't happen to me.
Thank God.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So then I got a new one, and it didn't really work as well. So I went to the gynecologist, and I'm like, I had been asking her about endometriosis for at least 5 years. And I'm like, this is
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've had painful periods since I started getting my period, which was like preteen era-ish. Right. So yeah, a long time I've been asking her about this and been like, okay, I'm 18 now. So can you like check, or can you help me, please? At this point, I'm begging her for help, because this, like, especially in the last summer, was like seriously affecting my life. Like, I would get a pain in my pelvis, and then it would shoot down my leg, and then I would have to sit down because it hurts too much to walk because of my period pain. Or like I would be crying in the middle of public because it hurts so much, and like I would change color because of the pain. And yeah, so I'm like begging her for help at this point. I'm like, please, you need to do something, because I can't live like this. she's like, okay, I will do an explorative laparoscopy. So that means they have like a camera and they have I don't know, whatever else. So I have 2 scars here and then one in my belly button where they put a camera in and looked. It's a surgery. And so, yeah, she's like, okay, I'll do it. And I went to the Misericordia, whatever hospital that is. And she had my surgery. But before, she was like, if I don't find anything, you can't be upset. And I was like, okay. But that kind of like made me think, I'm like, what if she doesn't find anything? And like, what if it's just my life and there's nothing that I can do to change it? And then I was worried going to my surgery, but it doesn't matter. When I woke up, the first thing I asked the nurses, I'm like, did they find anything? And she said, yes, they found endometriosis on your uterus and ligaments that hold up your uterus. I don't know. And they removed it. And yeah, in that moment, I cried tears of relief because I was like, there's actually something that is wrong and it's not just my normal.
Yeah. It's been like a massive burden off your shoulders, saying like,
yeah.
Oh, thank goodness it wasn't just all psychosomatic. It wasn't just in my head. It's actually real.
Yes, exactly.
Like and the doctor actually has tangible evidence for it.
Exactly.
It's like, and you're laying there. It must have been tears
like
of joy.
On anesthesia still, but happy. Yeah. And so I have endometriosis, a mast cell disease, and then POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And it's like a autonomic nervous system disorder. So your autonomic nervous system, which is like all your regular functions of your body,
like heart rate, kind of breathing,
digestion, blood pressure, all that stuff, doesn't work as well. So I get tachycardia, which is heart beating very fast, dizzy, dehydrated, exhausted, and lots of other random things that come along. Blood pooling, my legs. I have POTS, and then also chronic fatigue syndrome, which is another kind of autonomic and neurological disorder where your body doesn't process sleep properly, so you never really feel rested.
You just feel exhausted all the time, right?
Yeah,
have you
exactly.
had like a sleep test?
I had
because it could be sleep apnea. Like a lot of people say that they don't feel rested no matter how many hours of sleep they get.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it's just because they're not breathing properly. Yeah.
I had a EEG. Wait, okay, I don't know if it's called that. I had some type of test where I went to sleep there, and it was like a sleep deprived test. So I had to stay up all night and then go to the test, and so I could go to sleep. And they tested my brain waves or something. I don't really know. Some electrical thing in my brain. I don't know the scientific terms, so I can't say. But they tested my brain, my breathing, and something else during my sleep. So I don't know if it's like what other people have had, but I have had one type of one. But I can't say I've had like all the sleep studies done. So it's possible it could be that.
Yeah.
But right now the like consensus is chronic fatigue syndrome, which could still be applicable even if I had a sleep disorder, because regardless, you're still fatigued.
Yeah. And you know what? Like the way you explained all that was so coherent. It's very like, you could tell you've really done your research onto all this.
Yeah.
Like you're very educated into your own body, like your own mind, which actually takes a lot of work. Like, good for you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Like there's other people out there that don't know anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm the same way. Or if there's like some symptom that I'm feeling, you best know I'm on MD Center. I'm on Reddit. Like I'm on my doctor with the blood tests.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great personality trait. I think, like, yes, I'm sorry you've had to go through all that and all the pain and suffering and, having to give up dance. I'm sorry. But hey, on the bright side, you've found the answers.
Yeah.
You're working towards getting cured.
Mhm.
You're hopeful and you're realistic with yourself, and you're still going. And I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
No, really, that's awesome. And I think, you should give yourself credit, right, where it's due. Right? Do you struggle with that at all, though?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Because like before I had all these illnesses, I could do so much. And now it's like looking back and comparing it to now is like, oh, well, I don't do that anymore. But then I look to like right now and when I first got sick, and I am a bit better. Like things have changed and I've learned to manage these things better. And so I am better from when I started. And there isn't really so a lot of medical interventions that they can do for these kinds of things. So a lot of it is like learning how to eat properly and like fuel my body with good things, and learning sleep habits and different kinds of movement that isn't necessarily dance but can still benefit me without making me exhausted.
Yeah. Do you, how do you deal with uncertainty? Like, do you worry a lot? Like, do you go, oh, like 10 years later, 20 years later, like, what's this gonna do? Like, cancer, could this be, like a sign that things are just about to go to hell? I already feel like I'm in hell. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever struggle with that? Because I know for me, I experience one affliction. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is the start of something truly despicable, truly horrible.
Yeah.
The atrocities are coming, and I'm just there in the corner waiting for it all to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, like with endometriosis. And I mean, I'm 18, so I can't say if I'm planning to get pregnant whenever or not. But like even with that, lots of women aren't able to get pregnant, and
Well, you said 1 in 10 though.
1 in 10 women have endometriosis. Yeah, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some of them struggle with infertility. So like in that kind of sense, I worry about that, even though I don't know if that's what I plan to do or not. But I mean, the other things, I kind of have an idea of how I can keep them under control with things that I can do by myself, right? Like meditation, like you just said meditation.
Yeah, I gotta send you that link of the Andrew Huberman one.
Perfect.
I meditated for an hour last night. It was really
That's impressive because it is hard.
It's tough. But yeah, sorry I cut you off.
That's okay. Yeah, things like that, like journaling, lots of things to keep yourself regulated, like mentally, can help you physically with these kind of things, and like give you a good baseline so that you're not all over the place when you're trying to get better.
And don't forget that sunlight.
Yes,
that sunlight.
very important.
Water. That water.
Have you tried drinking water?
Yeah, no, water's great. Yeah, no, I haven't drank any. Here, you reminded me. Yeah, what else is nature? Nature's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the little things, right? They feel such a. I know when off camera we were talking about how stress is like a massive factor onto, like, if your symptoms are going to be intensified, even just like the quality of your happiness, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like stress reduction, like working towards just like getting rid of stress, or maybe not getting rid of stress, because then the stress is kind of needed for you to take action, but just like unloading a lot of it.
Yeah, it changes everything. Stress is like tied to everything in your life, even the things that you're not stressed about, like if your system is deregulated, then everything is deregulated in your life. You need to find like a good baseline. And that's like kind of what I go to therapy, and so credit to my therapist for telling me this and teaching me this, right? But you need to have a baseline, so then you know where your normal is at, and you can gauge if you're good or bad based on your normal.
When I have lots of stress, or I was never formally diagnosed, but I had like an eating disorder. Like I would eat 3,000 calories in like an hour. Like it was
oh my goodness,
kind of cool, but it was like I would run it all off. Like I'd run, it was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed just like things that I didn't want to do in high stress situations were like ultimately things that I'd look back and gone, wow, I was just like very stressed out. Like I was taking on too much and I didn't really give myself grace. And I've been wanting to get into therapy. And just like I think that this year is probably going to be the year I start. I heard it's just like opens up doors, you know?
It does. It's fantastic. And like so many things that you wouldn't think are not necessarily a problem, but are like important things on your mind. They all like kind of come out in therapy, and then you can process it. And I recommend therapy to absolutely everyone, even if you think you're like good and okay.
You're not good.
Literally. No, but there's always something you can work on, and always something everyone can benefit from therapy.
Yeah. And what if you got a friend like Kayleigh? I just, everything's fine in my life. Like I don't really need help. Like, no, you have to get therapy. Therapy will choose. Like, I just literally don't have time, you know? But I think everybody could benefit from therapy, right? Because just like things that you could learn more about yourself,
Absolutely.
right? And you could gain access through it for like a person that's studied that.
Yeah.
Pick out your brain, right? Yeah. I was so you mentioned having an amazing support system. Like, what does real support look like for someone living with chronic illness?
My support system kind of consists of my family, my friends, and my boyfriend, Renton.
Shout out Renton.
Yeah,
Shout out Renton.
Renton
He was on the
here.
pod. Yeah. Last year. Check that episode out. Yeah.
And then I've found lots of doctors who are my doctors now and are very knowledgeable and can learn from other people, and they do learn from their patients. So thankful for them. But it's important for someone with chronic illness because your life can be so unpredictable, and like your days can be very unpredictable, to have those people that you can, I guess, predict they will always be there. And even if you can't do something, they'll try to reschedule, or they'll just say, it's okay, we can call, or like do something else, or just have a good sleep, like sometimes you make a plan and then it gets derailed because you're not feeling well enough to go. And it's important to have people who understand that that's just what happens in your life. And so like my parents, I mean, they live with me, so they know exactly what's going on and how I'm feeling, and they see it firsthand. But like my friends, if I can't go somewhere, they understand, and they're not like questioning me or
like not making you feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, don't be a bummer, Kayleigh. It's just one night, just, I know you're probably going to feel so disheveled the next day and discombobulated, but at least we're all going to have fun. It's like, it's great to have that support system where they know you for who you are, right? Especially with your living with chronic illness, and you want to be able to prioritize your health.
Exactly.
And what you're like, if they truly know who you are, they know how you operate, and they know you can't, none of those late nights,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I don't, or I guess chronic pain or hyperacusis, but
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like how my body feels if I stay out too long. Like anything after 10, 9, 10, don't get me in there. I'm out. I got my bedtimes at 8.
Absolutely. It throws everything off. Like anything that's not regular for your system changes everything for the next day.
No, I love waking up without an alarm clock.
Yeah.
Like that's my
your own
go-to.
alarm clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Like wake
That's
up
awesome.
naturally, and I get out with my green tea and the birds are chirping.
Yeah.
None of that, like, like sleeping at 2 a.m., waking up at like rushing to work. It's like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
I'm just like old traditional like that. But I don't know. I just see some of my friends, they just play video games until like 3 a.m. and they seem fine. Like for me, if I did that, I just feel like jumping off a cliff. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't know. Like certainly, it takes like the family, friends, they understand how you work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to eat that certain food. Like I'm just not going to eat that.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, yes, it's going to feel great for like the first 2 minutes, but I'm like throwing up, or I'm like, I'm
Exactly.
feeling
Good luck in the
gross.
bath.
Yeah. You're in the washroom for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, but yeah, no, Renton as well. That guy, it's, he's awesome. Every time I see him at the gym and in person, he's always very encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
He's always very compassionate, understanding.
Yeah.
In fact, the North family, every time I see any of the Norths, it's always a good time.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
They're the best. I couldn't get up every day without knowing that like Renton and my family and my friends would be there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. I mean, a shared joy is double the joy. A shared sorrow is half a sorrow. I've repeated that so many times in the pod, and it's just it's so real, right?
Yeah.
Your joy it multiplies in abundance, and the sadness, it becomes halved. You just feel less lonely.
Yeah.
Right? You feel happier, joyful. How do you maintain meaningful friendship relationships when your energy or ability to be present is limited?
So having the support system that I just talked about is important, like for people to understand what you're going through and how you need to function is like so important. But then also with that is like I have done it where I am too tired to maintain a relationship like mentally and physically, and it kind of goes away, and then I'm like, oh well, why didn't that person reach out? But it's not just on them, you have to make an effort too. The best you can, you have to do for a relationship to maintain it. And it's important to give yourself like compassion and grace and know when you need to slow down. But if you want to continue having friendships and keep people in your life, then you also need to make an effort, like just because I say this all the time is like something like chronic illness it can't be an excuse. It can be an explanation for something that happens or like a behavior that you did, but it cannot be an excuse. And I think that's for anything. Like you can't excuse your bad behavior. You can explain it to someone, but there's no like excuse for something. I don't know. I say that all the time.
That's a great point. A lot of people will use their afflictions, something that's happened to them, and like, yeah, I'm gonna treat this person badly because I was wronged. I have this disease. I dealt the wrong cards.
Yeah.
That gives me an excuse, a reason to be able to treat other people badly.
Yeah.
Treat my friends badly, put other people down. Now, if everybody thought that way, we would be living in a dystopian kind of, everything would just be terrible.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of atrocities. And like, what does that mean? That just means you put other people down to boost yourself up, and anything bad happens, you don't build. You just keep destroying. And eventually you look around you and it's all just ruins.
Exactly.
And I've talked to so many people that tell me, oh, why don't you hang out with this person anymore? And they tell me, oh, because they just stopped reaching out. And it's like, did you reach out? You know what I mean? And they're like, yeah, but I was always the one that reached out. Why'd you change it then? You were always the one that reached out. So why did you switch?
Yeah.
Like, it's because, oh, I just realized, like, no. Did you voice it out to them? Like, yeah, but it's like, there's all these excuses, right? And it takes two for the relationship to deteriorate.
Yeah.
And like I've always been the one to take initiative to go like, hey, let's hang out, let's do this. And if I changed that, I would have a lot less friends. Because like the average person it takes a lot of, you're vulnerable reaching out, right? Oh, what if they say no? What if they do this? Like phone calls. And it's like, but it's all worth it because, you strengthen the friendship. They do pick up, they text back. And then if you're your true self, you go walk in there and then you have a good time. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly.
It just lightens the burden.
Yeah. Convenience is like, I literally said it like an hour ago, but convenience is the easiest way to have a friendship. And so if it's not if you're not seeing that person every day, your relationship will change. And because if you talk every day, and you don't see them anymore, then it will change. And I think that's kind of what happened for me with lots of people I dance with, is that I saw them 3 times every week. And so we were super duper close. And then when I left, we had a very different relationship because I wasn't in the community anymore. I wasn't in the group and I didn't see them all the time. So like to connect is a different kind of way, you know, and you have to put lots more effort into keeping a relationship that's not convenient.
Yeah. And a lot of people will use that like to blame them, you know, like they're not making time for me. And it's like, yeah, but like they have their own lives too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you can't point fingers. Like you can feel sad about it, but it's just you can't force people to be friends with you, or you can't force people to do anything.
Yeah.
Because like think about how hard it is to change yourself. Why do you expect other people to change themselves to be easier? Like, no, it's much harder.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, you have the friends that you do. So why not focus on that? You know, make some more friends and reach out more.
Exactly.
Like instead of complaining, just try more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is kind of the biggest factor to maintaining a friendship? Would it be like texting, reaching out, calling once a week, twice a month? I don't know.
I don't know about like this, that like once a week kind of thing. Like it would benefit so many relationships to be like, for me, absolutely, to be like texting them not all the time, but like on a kind of like a, you know, once a week basis to check in. But I don't know. I don't do that, which is, I'm guilty of that, right? Like there's always I can do better to maintain a relation, to do anything, right? But like to maintain a relationship, there's so many things I can do better, and possibly the other person can do better as well. And I think when you're thinking of someone is the time to talk to them and say, oh, how are you doing? You know, even if it's like every day and they pop into your brain, text them or give them a call. And if it's once a month or every few months and you're like, oh, I haven't talked to them in a while, you should reach out to them.
I gotta read you this this newsletter, which you'll love. Everything degrades over time if it's not attended to. If you don't grow together, you grow apart. Friendships, relationships with your siblings and parents and life partners, all of these require nurturing on a consistent basis. Otherwise, life pulls you apart. You change, they change. Eventually, you don't recognize each other. This is an ugly truth. Disney's romanticism of companionship is that once you've made a connection, it'll be there forever. Everything degrades over time if it's not attended to. The best friendships I've ever had are with people who I'm sharing a struggle with or helping grow. But at the very least, relationships require attention and cultivation to keep alive. Everyone is busy, and if you're not regularly involving yourself with someone's life, the hole that you take up will be filled by something or someone else. If you don't grow, you grow apart is a great description because it's hard to reach inertia with friendships. They tend to either be strengthening or weakening. Rarely are they static. One of the best solutions I found for this is to cultivate a habit of texting people immediately whenever I'm thinking about them. Friends, parents, podcast guests, whoever. If a memory of us comes up, I'll message and say, I'm thinking about them. It's a tiny effort to keep hold of a relationship that you probably really care about and will miss if it drops off. Untended gardens wither and die. Try to keep watering yours, by Chris Williamson.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reminded me whenever you said like texting people, which I do all the time now, you know. Or it goes a long way. What I do is I go, hey, I was just thinking about you. What's up? Or like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Remember this time or this? It's like, oh yeah. It goes a long way.
Absolutely.
You know? If it happens every day, which you know, like I think about my friends a lot, but not that much. You know. Yeah. What do you do? What do you send as a text?
Just mostly like, hey, how are you doing? How's whatever going?
Yeah.
And I this is actually something that I've been trying to be more on top of and like
Yeah.
good about, is actually texting people when I think of them. Because it is a lot of work and it is hard to have a friendship and maintain that. And friends, like, they do come and go, and I think a lot of that is because you didn't maintain, or not you, but like the people in the relationship didn't maintain it.
Yeah. It's it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, the more friends you have too, the quality goes down because you just have less time to be able to divert the attention to. So that's why, you know, choose friends that are actually there for you, of quality, because you can choose the wrong ones. You can put so much effort into that, but they don't make you feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Can you share a moment when someone in your life really showed up for you in a way you didn't expect but needed most?
A couple things. When I kind of talked about earlier is that like not being able to go to things or like hang out with people, but like when someone is inviting me to things, or someone invites me to something and I say no, and then they invite me to something again, like a couple weeks later, and I say no again, or not, and they keep inviting me to things. Like, I love that. It's nice to feel included and be included, even if it's not something that can happen for you. Like, it's not a nice feeling when you're sitting alone or doing nothing, and then you're looking on Instagram and your friends are like hanging out,
That
and
FOMO.
exactly. and they didn't invite you, you know? And like, it hurts. It does. Even if you can't go to it, it hurts that you didn't get invited. And so someone in my life is continuously inviting me to things that I wasn't necessarily invited to before, because I talked to them about this. We actually had a conversation about missing out and not being invited, even if we can't go. And so now they're inviting me to things, and that is like, I really, really appreciate it. And I think other people with chronic illness miss out on a lot of things because they can't go, or they're not feeling well enough to do something. And even if they can't, just to be invited is a nice feeling. And so I like when people invite me to things. And a teacher of mine, my bio teacher, Mrs. Hurtubise, if you knew her,
she was always very
best.
caring.
Absolutely.
I have her on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
She was the best.
Yeah, she was very compassionate.
Yeah.
And then I was a rough kid. I was going through a lot in high school, and she always checked up on me, like, very genuine.
Yeah.
And she was always so caring. And I actually invited her on the pod, but
really?
she rejected.
Oh, no.
Next time though. Maybe next time she'll change her mind. But yeah, shout out to Mrs. Hurtubise.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's you're awesome. And yeah, I'd probably up there for favorite teachers too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
When I was missing a lot, because this all kind of happened in grade 12 when I got diagnosed with stuff and started getting sick, was October, November in grade 12. And I missed so much school. And I don't know, like, one member of the staff was kind of being like, oh, you need to keep coming to school because you might not graduate. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do if I can't get out of bed? Because my grades are going to get worse if I come to school and do a test and I'm exhausted or distracted by pain. And if I come to school every day exhausted, my grades are going to get worse, and that's not what I want. But, I want to keep coming to school because you need to learn, you need to pass and do well. So it was like a hard kind of internal like fight, like, I'm too tired to go to school, but I need to go to school because I need to graduate, right? And this member of the staff was not very compassionate and kind about it.
They've heard all the excuses, right? They're
exactly.
probably just jaded. Yeah,
and that's fair, but
no, mine's real, okay?
I'm different. But Mrs. Hurtubise was very accommodating. Like, if I missed 2 quizzes in a row, she would find a different time for me to do them, and not say, oh, why did you miss that? Or like being like, you missed it so you could study more or something else, genuinely believe me and listen to why I'm not coming to school and find a different solution for something because I couldn't go to school. And I remember I told her I was having a really hard day because I just learned something, or there was like there's a possibility that I had a cancer because of these doctors. They were like, maybe you might have cancer. And I'm like, whoa, what? And then they didn't do anything about it. Like they didn't kind of test anything, and they just kind of left me with that. And I'm like, why would you say that? Yeah, don't even get me started.
You might have cancer. Okay. See ya.
Yeah. Anyways, I did not, clearly, but I told her, and I'm like, this is really like, I don't know what to do. And so she like took, because they have like their little science prep room. So I sat back there with her for like 10 minutes and cried, and she just let me and listened to me. And maybe I hadn't been vulnerable with a teacher like that before, but also I haven't like felt comfortable to do that with a teacher. And so her like showing up and being so accommodating was something that like I wasn't expecting any teacher to do, but was really, really appreciated.
Yeah, she goes above and beyond.
Absolutely.
Like, I remember when I had an incident at school where I downed a bunch of Adderall.
Okay, yeah.
And like I just, like whole teachers got notified. I was sent to the hospital, and I was like a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember she was like, she genuinely cared, like ask everyone in the class, like, how's Advin doing? You know? And I like remember talking to her after. She's like, hey, Advin, how are you doing? And I could felt like something in her voice, just like actually touched my spirit, touched something, made me feel like I was a person, right? And that's kudos to her, for making you feel that, oh, we're connected. It's not just, you're not just here to learn. You're actually here to be a role model. And like, she's like if I ever become a teacher, I'd want to model her ways of, prove and like view every single student as like her children essentially, pretty much. Because the way, she just let her students, take their own time. And when they missed it, and like a lot of students did, study more, mixed a quiz because, and you know what? I'm sure she knew that, but she still gave them that compassion that, oh, maybe they may be struggling at home, or maybe, they're up too late. Maybe the family home situation's not that good.
Exactly.
And she was always aware of that. And she had good teachings, and she always had these stories. I'm sure she told you about stories about like not to smoke.
Yeah.
And about her uncle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I always remember that. And a lot of people, like when I talk to people, they're always like, yeah, no, I remember that story. She's repeated that many times.
Yeah.
And now, thanks to her, I don't smoke. But you have been a great inspiration. Like even to me, when I read your post, I'm like, I have to get Kayleigh on the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've been very brave, and throughout your journey, it's great. I think you are a great leader. I think for people out there, going through all the myriad of chronic illnesses and pains, what would you say to them right now?
That it probably does get better, and once you're able to find something that helps, don't like give up on it, even if it seems silly, like journaling, maybe it's not actually helping with your physical symptoms, but it probably is helping for your mental health. And things like that are still important, even if they're not something that's medically doing anything, but things to keep yourself grounded and mentally well at this kind of time where it's hard to feel happy when there's like so much hard things you're going through. Keep those things that make you feel happy if you can, and find something that makes you feel happy. Make that a priority if you can. Yeah.
Thank you so much for for coming on today. I really appreciate the openness and honesty, and you still view life with a lens of positivity, and you don't let it break you, despite kind of the hardships that you've gone through. Because I know a lot of people experience pain and they go, oh, why me? But I don't sense any victimization with you. Like, you seem to be very hopeful and very,
I
very
think
positive. Yeah.
I think everything does happen for a reason. Even if you can't see it now, it will show eventually why it happened, and good things eventually come out of everything, even if it absolutely doesn't seem like it.
True. Yeah. Thank you again. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, to everyone listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Kayleigh Staigh, everyone. Stay, Kayleigh Staigh. Do people ever use that as a pun?
Absolutely.
She won't be staying now. Let's go.